I received a message last night that an officer is in critical condition in the hospital here in a Florida prison. I'm not going to give the prison's name right now or the inmate's name, although I have both. And it is under investigation by the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. The officer was picked up by an inmate and slammed head first into a concrete sidewalk. The officer has some brain bleeding, busted eardrum, some fractures. He is in ICU. I was told the officer is by the book, but he's fair. But he's by the book, and he makes the inmates follow the rules, which is what you're supposed to do. This is happening way too often, folks. Too many officers are getting hurt. It is just unbelievable about the incidents that I'm hearing about, and most of you out there as well that are on the social media with corrections. You're hearing all over the country that officers are being attacked. Discipline is just almost going down to the tubes in this country as far as inmates following the rules and doing what they're supposed to do. And this has to stop. And people say, oh, don't always blame management. But I'm going to tell you something, folks. I know for a fact here in Florida, I've been talking to a lot of people, management has to work for the front line. Management has to work for the working class people. Management has to stop working for the politicians. And I know that sometimes a sergeant or lieutenant or a captain's hands are tied. I know. And I've had people tell me, well, it's a political job anyway. Let me tell you something. It wasn't always like that. It wasn't always like that, and it doesn't have to be like that. We house inmates. We provide care, custody, and control, but we need to back each other up when we discipline them, and we need to discipline them properly. I'm not talking about abusing inmates. For anybody out there that goes, yeah, you want to abuse them into doing what they're supposed to do. No, we don't. We will protect ourselves, though, and I don't want officers to be afraid to protect themselves, because management has put this stigma in their mind that if I touch that inmate, they're going to investigate me and they're going to terminate me. They'll find a reason. You know, we need management and supervisors with backbone and intestinal fortitude that know how to back their officers. Now, I don't mean backing your officer by falsifying documents or lying, which we've had that happen. That's not backing your officers. Backing your officers is, hey, my officer was grabbed by that inmate and he did what he had to do, or she did what she had to do to protect herself. And we should allow that without any repercussion. Policy and procedures are in place, yes. But when you're being attacked by an inmate or inmates, look at the photograph I'm using and look at the photograph I used for my thumbnail of this video. This is several inmates attacking one officer. Do you think while you're being attacked by these inmates that your mind is saying, oh, I must follow policy and procedure now? No, you're not. You're thinking, how am I going to save my life? And in those instances, if you kick an inmate, punch an inmate, hey, you're trying to save your life. There's several inmates beating you up, or one inmate has just slammed you into the cement. Bite them. I don't give a darn. We want you to be alive to tell us what happened and testify in court so we can prosecute these inmates who are assaulting you to the fullest extent. That's another thing we need to do. Management, you need to get with your state attorneys. Inspector General, do what we did back in the day. Okay, we would meet with each state attorney office. Our Tampa office covered like 8 counties. We would go to each state attorney office and have a meeting with them and say, hey, we need you to prosecute these inmates that are attacking our officers to the fullest extent. Stop giving them this easy 1 year and a day plea deal and, added on to their sentence. Let's give them some time. Let's get it. I have seen a few now where they've been getting 6 years, 5 years, 8 years added to their sentence. But that's far and few between. We need it across the board, across the country. Prosecute these inmates that attack our officers and injured our officers. It's dangerous behind that razor wire, and it's getting more dangerous. And when you're looking at an incident, it's not always what it appears to be. So if you're investigating the incident, either administratively or you have a jail detective or a prison inspector, please, investigators, step back, look at the whole situation, and realize that these officers, many of them are trying to just save their life. Okay? We need to prosecute the inmate that attacked the officer, and we need to keep care of our officers. Let's quit bowing down to the outside world that wants to see every officer who does any type of force to an inmate be punished. That is just pure crazy. These are people that think that way. They need to get in, and we need to put them in an isolation cell with a violent inmate for 1 week and let them see after a week. And don't let them out. No, you're crying, get me out of here, get me out. No, you've got a week with that inmate. This is that inmate that you say is mistreated. And let them learn that not all inmates, okay, folks, just like not all officers. It's not all inmates that are that way. But those violent inmates that are picking officers up and slamming their heads into the sidewalk, that should be attempted murder, if you ask me. Attempted murder charge immediately. That's the way I would write it up back in the day when I was an investigator. And, if the state attorney drops it, I don't have any control of that. But at least I did my job as an investigator, writing that up as attempted murder, and then beg the state attorney to prosecute to the fullest extent. Policy and procedure when 5 inmates are beating you is not on anybody's mind, folks. Get that out of your head, managers, when you go, did you follow policy and procedure? And you're sitting there with busted jaw, broken arm, and you go, well, Captain, at the time I was being beaten by 5 inmates. I had one thing on my mind: fear for my life, and how am I going to save my life? And where's my backup? Hurry up, backup. That was the longest 3 minutes of my life trying to survive that inmate attack. There's 2 sides to every story. And yes, we have some issues sometimes when officers get overzealous and abuse. But hey, folks, the inmates attack a lot of inmates attack officers. And then we want to turn around and bow down to the political issues on the outside world and say, well, the inmate attacked him, but, he shouldn't have done this. An inmate attacks an officer with physical force, with a fist, with a headbutt, with an I'm going to come get you, and they're coming towards you. You have the right to defend yourself. Okay, folks? It's not all blame the officer all the time. That's what this world's coming to, and it's sickening. These officers in the jails and prisons are there to protect the community, to protect the citizens, to keep you safe at night while you sleep in bed so these inmates don't escape and come to your house, break in your house, rape you, kill you, rape your daughter, and in some cases, rape your son, because some of these folks are sick, let me tell you. But because they're sick, doesn't give them the right to have us allow them to beat on us or hurt us. I just had to vent this out. When I got this message, and I won't say who sent me the message, It's not in the news yet. I checked I almost gave away the county. I checked the areas for the news reports. It's not out there yet. I checked the Department of Corrections news press releases. It's not out on their press release yet. This officer had to be, medevaced out to a hospital that can handle this type of brain injury. This inmate, by the way, folks, third time. Third assault on staff. Close management. Okay, close management inmate. You'll get this sucker out of there and lock him up. I guess we'll have to give him 1 hour a day for rec. But let's get this guy sentenced. And I looked him up. He's not in for life. We need to get him in for attempted murder. I had to vent today. I'm so sick and tired of it. It's the officers that are mean, the officers that are cruel. That got me. I feel so bad for this guy. Please, prayers for his family and friends. And let's do something to help protect our officers. Now, we know an inmate can grab you at any minute. We know that. We just have to have our head on a swivel and be aware. But even the best officer, the strongest officer, the most physically fit officer can be had by an inmate. These inmates work out all the time. There's always somebody. Remember this, folks. I don't care how tough you think you are. Number one, that uniform and that shield we wear, yes, it's there as a symbol of who we are and what we do, but it's not going to protect you against physical harm, folks. And we walk that line without a weapon. So you have to kind of be ready every minute of the day for the unexpected, and you have to protect yourself. But no matter how tough you think you are, there's always an inmate out there that's tougher, unfortunately. Okay, facts, truth, truth. Okay? So, we're only as strong as the weakest link. I'm going to do a physical fitness video later, and the reason I'm mentioning it now is when I do my physical fitness videos, I actually exercise along with my video because I don't like to just talk it. I like to do it. And I'm 63 years old, but I like to show that if I'm going to ask you to do it, I can do it. I may not be able to do it as fast as you, as much as you, or lift as much or whatever, but I do it. And the reason I'm mentioning that now in this video is we have to be able to protect ourselves for up to 3 minutes. What's your response time, by the way, folks, for backup? Every place varies. Some places are quick, 30 seconds. Some places are a minute. Some places are 3 minutes. Some places maybe even more. You have to try to get in some type of physical shape to protect yourself from these inmates when they attack. All right, I've vented enough. I'm done. Thank you for your service. Stay strong. Prayers for this officer and prayers for any other officers that are injured right now recovering from inmate attacks. Thank you for watching Gary York True Prison Stories. Please subscribe.